Today, I'm going to be talking about configuring a Kubernetes cluster, a very simple Kubernetes cluster from a config file. So usually for most people that provision Kubernetes, they use Kubeadm. Now, when most people interact with Kubeadm, they mostly use the CLI. So in this case, we are going to go declarative. Now, there's an alpha feature whereby it allows you in an alpha release, it allows you to configure Kubernetes from what? In a declarative way from a config file. Now, this is a sample config file. It has the usual configuration, for example, the advertised address. In this case, I'm using a custom address, the custom band port, the control plane endpoint. In the case you want to set that, the server um, you know, subject alternative name, the extra args, right, that you want to pass the API server, the API version of this kubeadmin, configuration file, and audit policy. It has the usual thing, the cluster name, and the bootstrap token. The bootstrap token is how you actually set the token that you want others to use to join your cluster. How long the token is going to be valid for. It says 1 hour. Now the etcd configuration, it has all the usual configuration. I'm going to provide this file after this video so that you can actually go through it and use it in your cluster. You probably have to make some configuration. For example, the advertised address, yours is going to be different. So I'm going to copy this file, right? I'm going to create a file called cluster.config. Alright, I'm going to cluster.config. Alright, alright. Now one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sudo kubeadmin. I want to init. The config file, right? The config file is going to be cluster. Now this is the config file. As you can see, I'm not passing any other thing. Everything I need to pass is in that config file. Alright, so our cluster is creating right now. Our cluster is creating. Okay. Alright, our cluster is creating. Let's give it like a couple of, some time. Now, if you notice, all these changes all the specification that we mentioned in the config file is being applied, as you can see from the log. For example, our SAN is being added to the API server, SAT, right? For example, also how do I say this? It's also adding the advertised address, the address that the API server is advertising that can be reached on. If you also notice, it's also saying that it's going to also telling us which token it's about to use. It should be somewhere in the log where it actually tells you the token that it's about to use. All right. Okay, I can't really see it right. Okay, it's right here. Using token, the token that was specified in the config file, right? Now all we have to do is just copy this token, right? Once we copy this token and copy this token, right, and use that to join other nodes to the Kubernetes cluster. Now, before we can do that, let's copy the config file. Kubernetes copy etc Kubernetes admin. Copy it cube configs rather. Copy the config file so that we can interact with our cluster. kubectl get node. Alright, right now it says our master is in a cluster, but it's not ready. Now let's go ahead and join our node. This is our node. This is going to be our node. Alright, so this has to be sudo. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Alright, so let's see if our node has joined. Boom. Right now, our Kubernetes node has been able to join to the master. Now, as you can see, they are not ready. And the reason why they are not ready is what? We don't have a defined CNI. So in this case, let me go ahead and use, I'm going to use CNI Calico. Excuse me, let me quickly do a Google of Calico YAML. Okay, the manifest. This is the the CNI, Calico CNI. I think, let me look at the raw file. Okay, I think I used 2.7 last time. There should be a 2.7 also. Oh, not found, damn it. Okay, let's see. Alright, kubectl apply. Let's apply our CNI. And yeah, blah blah blah. Sorry, I think let me just go to the Calico. That's not what I'm looking for. Okay. So what we are trying to do is just find the file itself, right? Calico. All right. Calico Kubernetes. By okay, installation. You go to the installation. Okay, that's not what I'm looking for. Ah, damn it. All right. Okay, this is the Kubernetes. This is the real Calico file. All right, let's go ahead and apply it to our cluster. kubectl applied. Okay, now the CN has been applied, so let's go ahead and say kubectl get node. Now it should probably take some time. Let's watch it. Our node is going to boom. Our node is showing ready because we have installed the CNI. So that's not the main part of this tutorial. The main part is how to actually make sure we how to use a config file in a declarative way to configure our cluster using Kubeadm. Now, thank you very much. In the next tutorial, I'm going to walk through like some of these. Next couple of tutorials, I'm going to walk into some of these options and see how we can actually go deeper and actually perform some custom option. For example, on the API server extra argument, what sort of argument can we pass in, and what does those arguments mean? I thank you very much.